Hello, everyone, and a pleasant welcome to the August 30th, 2022 edition of The Big Show with Uncle Willie right here on Rwanda 24 TV. And of course, my name is W. Willie Sr. Better still, I'm the world best uncle, Uncle Willie. Well, today's edition of The Big Show promises to be very fascinating as usual because we are going to be playing host to Miss Riti and Raleigh, an international relationship therapist that has been doing so well here in Rwanda. And if you have a relationship and you've been facing some issues, some misunderstandings, and been thinking on where to get an advice from or pieces of advice, well, today is just the right day for you. So this show, like I said, promises to be very fascinating as usual. It's going to be very educative, and I just want you to stay tuned. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back from that short break. Thank you for staying with us. For those of you who just joining us, I'd like to say a pleasant welcome. This is the Big Show with Uncle Willie right here on Rwanda 24 TV. And like I said, today our guest is Miss Riti and Raleigh, an international relationship therapist, and we're going to be walking you through many things as it relates to relationship. Relationship is a very broad topic. It's a very broad discussion, but we're going to try our best to just maybe touch every aspect, even if just for a few minutes. I mean, it's going to be so good here today on the show. So, Miss Riti, I'd like to say welcome to the Big Show and welcome to Rwanda 24 TV.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm honored to be here today. And thank you for this warm welcome.
Okay. So, firstly, just introduce yourself better. Tell us who is Riti and Raleigh.
Okay. Um, yes, as you have already stated, I am Mitzi really. I am a student studying in Rwanda, and I live in Kigali, presently. And yes, I've been having a couple of live shows on Facebook, and have been discussing wellness in general when it comes to mental health, relationship, family. I think with the exception of politics, yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's me.
Wow. Okay, so to get the ball rolling, like I said, we're gonna be talking just general stuff as it relates to relationship, everything concerning relationship. And for those of you that are watching and you have a question, you can just leave it in the comment section. We're gonna read it out, or maybe we're gonna ask in subsequent interview. So let's get the ball rolling. First of all, when we talk about relationship, we know there are bad relationship and there are good relationship, right?
Sure.
So, what are some of those things that a person need to take into consideration while entering a relationship in order to avoid a bad relationship? What are those things the person should look at and before entering a relationship?
Okay, so on your term, you're saying bad and good, but for me, when it comes to relationship, we say toxic and healthy relationship.
Okay.
So that side of it you're calling bad relationship is toxic relationship.
Okay.
And that good side is healthy relationship. So when it comes to having healthy relationship, there are just few things that are very, very essential and that people have to look at when you're entering a relationship or when you decide to have a relationship. Yep. So I think one thing on the list, or we can say the list, few of those things that are on the list will include respect. Yeah. Okay. That's very important. Yeah, there's love, because love should entail everything. But when it comes to having a relationship, respect is very important. Another thing that is important on this list is consistency. Yeah, we see a lot of people will say, I want to do this, I want to have a relationship, but at the end of the day, they are not willing to be consistent. Yeah, so consistency is something that is very key. Another thing is communication. Yeah, some people are not good communicators. So at the end of the day, they find it difficult to really relate to their partners. They find it difficult to connect. Yeah. And another thing, again, is maybe I should say sex. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The sex part of it is very important. When you get in a relationship, sometimes you have everything. You have communication, you have the consistency, you have, the respect, the love, care, and everything that is in it. But then sex is one part of it that is very important, and a lot of people overlook that. Yeah. People feel like, I can endure this. So,
Okay, so
Yeah.
so with all of the things that you just listed as criteria that someone should look at before entering into a relationship, what are the key one? Like maybe one or two? Because I know maybe it's not possible to see everything just maybe within one person, or maybe all the attributes at once. Maybe you may not be able to see or recognize it at once. So what are the key things that you should look at? Like maybe just one or two.
I think one most important thing is communication.
Communication.
Yeah, because if you're able to communicate, then comes in respect. Because let's say I agree that I have some problem with my partner. If I'm able to communicate effectively with my partner, then yes. Yeah, so communication is very, very, very important. Yeah.
So let's talk about sex. You mentioned sex being one of the most important aspect of every relationship, of which I agree. So, but someone would say, despite sex being the most important aspect of the relationship.
One of the most important.
Oh, one of the most.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I thought it was superior, than every other thing.
No.
But since it is one of the most, someone would say, but in this relationship, I have respect and I communicate, and but on the line of sex, my partner doesn't really, impress me. So for this reason, I don't think I can go ahead with this relationship. What do you have to say about that? Is this something that should be keen, or is it something that you can just manage to just go on with the relationship? Or
Yeah, so when you asked the previous question, I made mention of communication being like at the top of the list.
okay.
Yes, it's important. Love is there. Love is big, right? Because all of those things falls under love. But communication is very, very important. Yeah, I didn't make mention of being honesty. Because if I cannot make it, or I'm not compatible, or I can't go in line with your sexual urge, I should be honest enough to be able to say, no, I cannot do this, or I'm not able to do
And what
this.
should the person do?
Yeah. So let me coming back to your question, as it relates to sex in a relationship. Let's agree you have everything. There's the care, there's honesty, and everything. So as I say again, coming back to it, we look at communication. I should be able to communicate, so I can tell you sexual compatibility is very important. It's very essential, because if you don't have it, at the end of the day is where you notice that partners will leave, go outside and cheat, because they feel like, my partner is giving me everything, I have everything, he's giving me care, but the sexual aspect of it is a problem. So for me, I think my advice to those couples out there, to those that have the partners, the best thing to do is to communicate. And in the line of communication, it's important that you acknowledge the fact that you want to learn, and not just talking about it. Because some people don't know the nitty-gritty of sex. Yeah.
So the question actually is, so I have my partner, and I mean, we communicate well. She respects me. I love her. She loves me, and all of that. But on the sex aspect, we don't cope. Like maybe she doesn't satisfy me. Should that be a reason to leave the relationship? That's my question.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what you're driving at here, looking at reasons why you should leave a relationship if one aspect of it is not satisfactory to the next partner. For me, I'm saying no.
But we let's narrow it to sex.
Yeah, coming to sex, and I keep saying it's about honesty and communication, effective communication. So let's say I have a partner, and as you say, you have your partner, and you cannot get the full, sexual experience from that partner. So my thing is, I am saying that you guys should sit and talk about it. If you talk about it, one person should be able to learn. Because the thing about sex, let me tell you, it's not everybody that knows how to have sex. Some people need lesson. Yes. People need lesson, they need kind of counseling. If somebody don't want to pay or not paying attention to that sexual aspect of the relationship, they just choose to not do it, meaning they just don't want to do it.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So in short, people can learn sex.
Yes, people can learn to have sex. Yeah,
Wow.
you can learn to have sex. There's intimacy, which is a little bit different from sex. Yeah, so people can learn to have sex.
Wow.
Yeah. There are
Wow.
lessons that can be taken. There are people you can talk to. There are therapists. There are counselors. You can talk to them about your sex life. And yeah, you can spice it up. So there's a lot to be learned. Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. So most often we heard that in a relationship, the female hold on to the relationship than the male. I mean, it is often said, that's why we've been hearing like forever, a female usually keep the relationship. I want to know that from you. I want to confirm that today.
Oh, I think it's because of the fact that men are attracted. They go for what they see.
So first of all, it is true.
Yes, it's true.
Okay.
It's true. It's true somehow. I will not say 100%. No,
Okay.
I won't tell you that. But the most important thing here is, I think the reason why you always hear that is because, ladies pay attention to what they hear.
Okay.
When you tell a lady something, or when you tell her about love, or if you tell her about yourself, she takes that in, and then her emotion acts upon it.
Okay.
Yeah. For men, it's what they see. Next, maybe they go for what is up there, or what that woman is able to, how she able to present herself, her intellect, yeah, her presentation. So besides, a man can go after a lady with big breasts. Yeah, he can get attracted to a lady with big breasts. He can get attracted to a lady with big bums. He can get attracted to the physical appearance of a lady. But the most important thing is, the reason why people are always saying that is the woman who can decide the relationship fits. Because if a lady tells you that I cannot cheat, she won't. Because she have heard, if you can tell her every day that you love her, you care for her, like she's listening to you, and her emotion is acting upon what she have heard from you. So definitely, it's a woman that holds on to the relationship. Because when she decides, she decides. But for men, it's completely different.
So Megan, that
Yeah.
decides. That's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say.
A man can decide, but it's a difficult task. Yes, that's reality. It's a very difficult task.
Wow.
Yeah, it's difficult. Because I think men were just made that way. I'm not saying they cannot decide, but they get tempted very fast. Yeah, as compared to women.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they, okay, I got that. So, but what if this guy is in a relationship and the lady, at times, even though, like you said, ladies are the ones who decide the fate of the relationship, right? So what if it happens the other way. Like we are in a relationship and the guy is putting in time, but then the lady is out there doing something else. What do you think that guy should do? Like,
I think that is a whole different scenario because the fact of the matter is that if you let's take it both ways. I don't want you to put it one-sided. If a woman, you tell, let me tell you something. If a woman loves you, she loves you. She shows it. That's how women are programmed to be. That's how we were made. When we are in love, we show that we are in love. Yes. Even if we have to show it through some kind of love language, yes, we will show it. That's us. But if you have a girlfriend or a woman or a partner, whatever it is, and you're in love with that person, you're putting in so much time and that person is not focusing, trust me, maybe she's talking to somebody else. Yeah, maybe she's doing something completely out of the whole relationship setting. If she's not talking to somebody else, but I'm saying she's talking to somebody, I think that should top the list. Something is drawing or taking her attention.
so what can you do
Yeah.
as a man in that case?
I kept saying this, right, and I'm saying it again, that the most important thing is communication and for a person to be honest to you. Yeah.
So what?
So as a man, when a woman is behaving or acting up in such manner, it's best that you engage that woman and talk to her. Listen to her. Get to know why she's doing what she's doing. And you listen keenly. Pay attention to the body language, what she utters, and yeah, that way you can get to know why she's doing what she's doing. So if she's cheating, you're going to understand that there are certain things that this lady is not just doing, so I mean, that's it. Or maybe it could be that maybe she's paying more attention to herself in terms of going for her goal or something. But a lot of ladies, like if you're going for some goal, if you're a goal-getter, I mean, people can have relationship and go for pursue their career at the same time. But yeah,
Okay, so tell us more about toxic relationship. I mean, like you mentioned, toxic and healthy relationship. So tell us, how can one know that a relationship, is toxic? Or what are those things we should look out for to recognize a toxic relationship?
okay, so when it comes to a relationship being toxic, you find out that there's lack of support, there's poor communication, I mean, there's disrespect, there's dishonesty, yeah. So those are the things and a lot of other things that you find within a toxic relationship, yeah. There's no care, so all have to do with lack of support. So yeah,
Oh,
that's toxic relationship. And most often you find people who are depressed, especially when you have a partner who's depressed, who have this bipolar issue, because those are people that get angry quickly. Yeah, they always think about the negative side of life. So definitely those kind of people are quickly aggravated to anger. So yeah, sure.
so the toxic relationship can come from both sides, or is it only from the male or female? Because
Yeah, it's from both sides.
both sides.
Yeah.
So a female can be toxic in a relationship as
Yes,
well.
a female can be very toxic, very, very toxic.
Tell us more.
Okay, so when it comes to a female being toxic, maybe one one of the most important thing I see, or one of the key things I see when it comes to a female being toxic, is disrespect. The lack of disrespect, the lack of respect, I mean. So it have to do with disrespect. It also entails, lack of support. Yeah. But on top of that list of female being toxic, it all boils down to
Disrespect.
disrespect. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of female, I think that top the list.
So being,
Yeah.
being violent in a relationship, is it the same as a toxic relationship?
Yeah. Abuse.
Okay.
So yes, that's why I said toxic relationship entails a lot. Yes, so When it comes to being violent, it have to do with, I mean, it could be physical. Yeah, so definitely it could be emotional. So I was saying, just generally, I would say abuse. So you have emotional abuse, you have physical abuse. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question would be, what if we started up this relationship very healthy, like you mentioned, and then a certain point in time it start becoming toxic? What I mean, what is the cause of that? What do you think is the cause? Relationship and it started healthy and in time getting to be toxic.
Yeah, so I mean, relationship is about growth. So when you get into a relationship, it's about getting to know each other. Yeah. So I remember on one of my show I discussed the stages of relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was saying that you cannot leave from stage one and want to go to stage four. It's impossible. People have to get to know each other before you move on to the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. Yeah. There are certain stages of relationship that are just very difficult. Yeah. So if you're in a relationship, it's all about the stages of the relationship. When you are at the point where you already know that person and you agree to commit, there then comes in this point where there's a struggle for power. Meaning, maybe you feel like I don't want to listen to my partner because I already know everything about this person. Or the next person don't want to listen to this partner because they feel like, I mean, I am the man. Or, yeah, a lot of other factors are involved. So that is the time where you find out that people struggle. There is this power struggle. There is this fight. Another person think that I think I'm in control. So
Everybody
you
won't
should,
be the boss.
yes, you should listen to me. Yeah, so that is when the stages come in. I mean, another reason could be for the fact that maybe that person is seeing somebody outside of the relationship. So now there's lack of communication. It happens, yeah. There's lack of communication, there's dishonesty, there's disrespect. Sometimes it stems out from the fact that they are seeing somebody. Another case could be where, I mean, there's something your partner is doing that just doesn't sit right with you. I think it's this part where you find women nagging, talking and talking and talking and talking. Yeah. And I think it's at that point in time where people should be able to communicate. It's a hard thing to do, but people should be able to communicate their feelings. You should be able to communicate everything. Yeah, everything. Put out yourself.
But let's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but let's try to balance it. You're talking about women nagging. Let's take it from the men perspective also.
Yeah. So at times, when it comes to the reason why I mentioned nagging, yeah, I know it's from both perspectives. But then when there's a relationship is getting toxic where like a woman doesn't feel supported, she doesn't feel listened to.
That is from the
Yeah,
from the woman's perspective.
Then comes in the nagging part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. At times it could be a shift in the way of life of a man. That shift come about maybe when he's doing a new job and he gets to meet new people. So he starts to mingle with people outside, and then maybe his focus is just too many friends, or he feel like I'm supposed to chill with friends, and at the end of the day it brings problem because you are not spending that time you used to spend with your partner or your woman. So I'm just saying these things. I'm not saying it applies to everybody or like it's a general stuff, But these are the instances that happen. There are just few instances that happens in a relationship that brings about problem. Yeah.
Wow.
Makes the relationship to be kind of toxic. Yeah.
Wow. So, folks, there you have it. If you're just joining us, I'd like to say a pleasant welcome. This is the Big Show with Uncle Willie right here on Rewinder 24 TV. And of course, our guest today is Miss Riti N. Raleigh, an international relationship therapist. And we've been talking on series of stuff as it relates to relationship. So just stay tuned. Let's take a quick. So just tuned. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. Well, folks, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is the Big Show with Uncle Willie right here on Rewinder 24 TV. And our guest is Miss Riti N. Raleigh, an international relationship therapist. So, once again, thank you for rejoining us. What if I'm in this relationship and I know that I realize that the relationship is getting toxic, or maybe we having some misunderstanding, and I'm trying to solve it, and I want to communicate with my partner, but my partner is not willing to communicate. He or she is not willing to listen. What should I do? What should be my next action?
So in relationship, I was trying to give a list of the key things that makes up a relationship, and there was something I didn't mention. That was meeting your partner halfway. It's also called compromise. So in relationship, you have to be willing to compromise. If you cannot compromise, then you are not ready for that relationship. Yes, that's it. So I mean, we all have our different orientation when it comes to our backgrounds. They're different. I mean, everything about us is just different. So I mean, when you meet a partner and you want to have a relationship, or let's say you're willing to have a relationship, or you agree to have a relationship with that partner, meaning you should have that at the back of your mind. You should understand that there are certain things about me I should be willing to compromise. Because you are not you are not me, I mean, and I am not you. So
Sure.
you should realize that, I mean, this man, let me just give an example. This man loves to watch football game. If I don't love to watch football game, there are times I could compromise that my little time and sit down with him to pay attention to what he likes. It might not be only a football game, but there are a lot of other things. If he said this, and I know I don't like it, and I told myself I'm not going to do this at all, if I see reason, I should be able to tell myself, okay, honey or sweetheart, let's come to this agreement. That's a point of compromise.
And the question is,
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. You was talking about compromising in a relationship.
Yeah, so as I was saying, when you have a relationship, you should be able to reach to a point of compromise. That is meeting your partner halfway. So I just gave few instances where you can compromise. You guys can sit and have some discussion. You can communicate and then compromise. But if you as a partner is not willing to compromise, then you are not ready for the relationship. So in such cases, is maybe I can tell you that that person doesn't want that relationship. Yeah. They doesn't want that relationship, because if you are in a relationship and you cannot compromise, it brings about resentment.
Okay.
Yes.
So, time is not in our favor. So, before wrapping up, let me just ask you one final question concerning jealousy, right? Someone being jealous in a relationship. So, what if I'm in this relationship and I'm jealous over my partner, like searching his phones, or maybe searching your phone, and and I'm not seeing anything, suspicious. But yeah, I keep being jealous. What should I do that can help me?
I mean,
Like,
I
how can
think
one stop being jealous? How can one help with it?
so. Being jealous is relative, because the issue about jealousy in a relationship, what people call constructive jealousy, and for me, I would say yes, people can be jealous because it's obvious that your partner, you love your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I think jealousy also have to do with being protective. Yes, people might term it to be jealousy, but I see it like being protective. I think the point in from our Liberian setting, the time or the point in time where we say the person is jealous, meaning that person is overprotective.
Yes.
They're doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's exactly what I meant.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point where you're checking yourself, you checking that person's phone. I mean, you're doing things to see whether that person is cheating on you, which is not something I can encourage in a relationship. And that person continuously, you feel like that person is continuously doing something that you don't know of.
But I'm not
that
actually
is-
getting no
yes,
evidence. Mm-hmm.
that you don't know of, that is hurting you. I think you should work on yourself.
How?
Then from that point, it's like I can tell you as a partner, I think you're suffering from some kind of traumatic past. Yes. So I think at that point you're still going through your healing process. So I think what you need to do as a partner is to pause and try to heal emotionally. Because most of these things about jealousy stem out from our past relationship, things that have happened in our past. So as a partner, as I said, you take a heart or pause and then, try to heal yourself of every traumatic experience you've had over the past time. That is the only way you can move ahead in a relationship. That is the only way you can be able to grow with your partner. That is the only way that idea or that feeling of being overprotected will go away.
Wow.
So, let me come in. In one instance here, what you could do for yourself is even bringing that to the table. Like talking to your partner, you guys should learn to have a conversation. Engage your partner and talk about how you feel and why you always feeling that way. There might be a reason. It could be some kind of, I talk about relationship trauma, and there should also be another reason. There could also be another reason. Maybe childhood trauma also could be the cause of that. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe childhood trauma could be the cause of that. That was the voice of Miss Riti and Raleigh. And like I said, because of time, we just can't continue with the interview. But I promise you, we're going to have a part two of this discussion. We're going to have a part two of this talk wherein we're going to talk more about some other specific things as it relates to relationships. So it has been a wonderful time. Yeah, and I'd like to say thank you for staying with us. But before we leave, let's take a parting comment. What last thing do you want to say out there to the thousands of people watching you?
Okay, so as you've been saying, honestly, I'm not an international relationship therapist. As you say, yes, I might be a relationship therapist, but not international. I don't know why he termed it that way though. But yeah, so my advice to you guys out there, especially people that are seeking love relationship, my advice is that if you are not ready to get into a relationship, do not venture into it. Yes. When you want to get into a relationship, you get into it with everything and show off. Show off in a sense that, yes, I'm ready to do this. Another advice I would like to give to, especially men, let me put it, because you find out that a high percentage of men are the ones that are, although we are in a modern world, but you find out that a high percentage of these men are the ones who seek women. Yeah, are the ones who are after the women. I'm not saying it doesn't go the other way around, but if you're a man, or maybe you're a woman or lady, and you met this guy or you met this lady, if you want to have a relationship that is have something very serious, My advice to you is that you have to come with a clear button. Yes, a clear button. Be able to speak up your mind. If you want something casual, be able to tell that person, I want something casual. I don't want it to go any further. I don't want us to take it any further. So come with a clear button. Do not go into it at the end of the day. That person's mind is all on you, thinking that it's going to be more than just being casual, and then so that way you get the person to open up their mind to know that this is what I'm going for, or this is what the person wants. So if the person want to accept, then yeah, they can accept, say, oh yeah, no problem. If you want sex, just tell the person, I just want sex. Yeah, you will be surprised how many people will respond to such. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you so much for being our guest today, and we look forward to having you anytime soon in the nearest future for the part two of this conversation. So, on that note, I'd like to say thank you for staying with us. If you have a question, just leave it in the comment section, and I can assure you we're going to talk about them during the part two of this talk. My name is Isaac W. Willie. I've been your presenter, and I'd like to say many thanks to the CEO, Mr. Claude, and many thanks once again to all of you for watching us on this edition of The Big Show. Before you see me again, it's going to be on next Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye for mine.